Influence is the number one job of a successful business. You must influence prospects to buy, peers to support you, audiences to act, strangers to trust and follow you, employees to excel, investors to lend. If you can't influence, you're out of business. It's really a very simple equation. And unlike even a decade ago, today, there are so many points of influence that it requires something that business ownership didn't require once upon a time: leadership. Today, influencing requires leadership. Leadership requires influencing. If you cannot do both, lead and influence, you will be out of business. And if you do not hear another branding or business development firm, consultancy, or program telling you that, walk away. Now, just as this has changed, what successfully influences has changed too, which impacts how to lead. Telling no longer influences, engagement does. Lecturing no longer influences, creative, participative story arcs do. Scare tactics no longer influence, empowerment does. Top-down leadership no longer influences, inclusive collaboration does. Passion alone no longer influences, shattering denial does. And of course, what has never influenced still does not influence. And these are the hardest to change because they're the hardest to see in ourselves. Boring ideas, unoriginal thinking, flat, unemotional, or too intellectual delivery, inauthenticity. This is why Inspired Leaders Academy exists, because entrepreneurs have to both lead and influence. And because the landscape has changed so much, being successful at both is in peril. And also because influential leadership is an art and a science that very few get right. Inspired Leaders Academy exists so that you get it right. Successful influence requires the ability to inspire and the talent to provoke change. Inspired Leaders Academy is the only program you will ever find that develops in entrepreneurs the vital dual talent of inspired leadership and thought leadership. It is the only program that develops you to influence right, where you empower and excite, engage, and include with inspired leadership, as you also disturb outdated paradigms and stand apart as a truly original thinker and change maker with thought leadership. It is also the only program that takes you sequentially through the process of developing your influential brand and message from conception through presentation. Inspired Leaders Academy exists to eliminate mediocrity from the face of the earth, to shatter old paradigms that no longer work and invent new ones. It is about revolutionizing how we all succeed by pushing the limits on what can be done and imagined. And it exists to work with those who feel the same. Without question, the most successful businesses of the future are going to be led by, are already being led by, bold, inspired leaders who wake up and uplift humanity. I call them inspired thought leaders. If you are destined to be one, let's talk.